brought me sprinkle cookies.
So what, no fucking TV now? Hey!
Maybe she's from Jersey.
Welcome.
We do that every fucking time. You do the greeting.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Maybe She's from Jersey. We're your hosts,
Jackie Neese
and Alex Curtis. We got coffee today in Yardley, PA. We were generous and went over the bridge. We left Jersey because we had limited options. And this was Pretty Bird Coffee Roasters. I got a cold brew with vanilla sweet cream. She got the same plus vanilla. Kind of regrets that decision, but it's still good.
Yeah, I normally don't go for the sweet cream, so I completely forgot, and I always get a cold brew, a vanilla cold brew black. And it's just a lot, but I love it. Like, it tastes like a treat.
It literally tastes like a donut or Rice Krispie or something.
Literally.
So yeah.
It's pretty good. Check them out.
Check it out. So today's podcast, we decided to talk about kind of advice. I don't have a large social media following, but you do. So
not large, but
definitely large. I have like 900. You have like 22,000.
So today we decided we were going to do a little advice podcast and talk to our audience, like you were just saying.
Yes.
But I think any social media following is, as long as you are responsive with people, like I feel like I talk to the people who follow me. It's not like a super large following, but I feel like I'm very responsive, and I like to talk online. Like I love going live on TikTok when people are nice and things like that. So I asked on my Instagram a bunch of questions about like advice or thoughts on like relationship advice, anxiety, social media, like all that junk. And people left like really thoughtful questions and advice, and I don't know, it's really interesting.
We had to filter out a few because some just almost like it's my birthday. Congrats. Great advice moving forward. Okay. You want to do the first one?
Yeah. You want to start with relationship, or you want to start on the anxiety?
Let's do relationships. Those are fun.
Yeah, those were actually really cool questions. I like those.
Okay. I don't know if we can get to all of them, but
start on the first few and we'll see how we're doing.
Okay, so my friend talks shit about her on and off boyfriend and then keeps getting back together. And every time she distances herself from me because she thinks I'll judge her. Well, you probably are. Because I would. Just a little. Everyone's had that friend.
Everyone's had that situation in their life.
Even in like high school. That I feel like, no offense to, I don't know how old this person is or in what stage of their life, but that's a common thing in high school. I feel like me and every one of my friends had a friend that dated someone, and then they'd be on and off, and you couldn't even keep up.
And you were like, I fucking hate them, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day they were back together.
And you'd be firing her up, like justifying her. Like, yeah, fuck him. That was a scumbag move. Yeah. Like, we're never talking to him again. I'm blocking him for you. And then 2 days later, she's like, you know what? Like, I got over it.
There's so many things to that too, because like you always want to be a supportive friend and be like, whatever you decide, I'll support you. But I'm going to let you know my honest advice.
There's a breaking point though, because when things become, I'm talking like later in life when we're full blown adults. We're not 17, 16, 18. At that stage in your life, like, you're wasting time with that person. Yeah. If someone, my mom always said, if you're not in the honeymoon stage for at least 2 years, it's not going to last. Yeah. And think about it. 2 years in a potential marriage is nothing. Right. Like, if you can't be blissfully happy, there's a problem with that relationship. It could be you, it could be them, right? Or you just aren't good together. But figure it out, because you're just going to waste a lot of time.
I think there's also things of like, people say like, oh, people can change in relationships or whatever. I think there's just certain qualities about people that it's like, you kind of have to sit back and be like, does that work for me? Right. Like, if this person is like that, does that work for me? And I think that's like a huge thing, because I feel like chemistry and attraction can always be there, but at the end of the day, if you're not compatible and you can't like fight well or communicate or like just make it work, I feel like you do have to take a step back and just say to yourself, does this work for me? Like, am I happy here?
Right. I guess the best advice for this friend would be to tell your friend, she's distancing herself. Probably, you're right. Probably because she thinks you're judging her. Yeah. And I don't blame you if you are, to an extent. Yeah. But you can, validate her and say, I'm here for you. If you decide to go back to him, I'll fire you up, but you need firing up. And I'll cool you down when you need to be cooled down. That's fine.
Right.
But you can't, I also think that friend should respect that you can't like go hang out with them all the time or see him all the time because you know how awful he is to her. And that's hard for the friend. Like she needs to be aware of that, but also aware that no matter what, it shouldn't affect your friendship. You're still there for her. But also to be mindful, if you're complaining about the same fucking thing and nothing is changing, stop complaining about it. Yeah. Because I'm sure that, you know, you gave her plenty of advice on it, and if she's not going to listen to you about it, then why are we still talking about this?
Yeah, literally.
So maybe you pick and choose those conversations a little bit. But if the friendship's important to you, I would just, you know, validate her and suck it up.
I saw something online too the other day that was like, do you want advice or do you want to just vent?
And I think that's something you should always say to I say that to you sometimes. I'm like, do you want me to give you my opinion feedback, or do you just want to vent? And you'll tell me, no, don't, just shut up, don't say anything. But okay. Okay, moving on. Good luck.
That's like so common though.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so common.
Yes. Thankfully I haven't had to deal with that recently, but I'm sure it's normal. Okay. I'm still single and I'm 30. My mom keeps trying to set me up, but I'm happy where I am. Okay. So Joe my boyfriend is 30. All of his friends are turning 30. Only like 2 of them are married, and only like 1 of them, including him, is in a long-term relationship. I'm assuming this person is a woman. I'm just going to go with that. Sorry, but gender profile. I don't know. Talk to your mom.
I feel like if you're happy, like, then
and
just keep doing
I'm sure
you.
the mom's not doing it because she thinks you're miserable and you need a man in your life or a woman in your life, whatever. I'm sure she's doing it because that's what she thinks makes her happy, and she just wants that for you. And there's some sort of peace for a parent, I'd imagine, to know that you're in a healthy, committed, safe relationship. Like someone's always got your back. Right.
I was gonna say sometimes people just consider it like having that best friend, having that support system and things like that. And yes, like you can be very well off on your own, but sometimes it is nice to have that extra support.
And don't let it deter you. Like, live your life. Everyone says that you find love when you're least looking.
I was just
you're not
looking
that. For it. And I do actually believe that to an extent. So just live your life, be happy, because at some point you will meet that person, and then that's it for the rest of your life. From that moment on, that person will be in your life, whether it's good or bad. Enjoy the alone time that you have, because it probably won't be for much longer unless you choose so.
I think that's awesome that like you're happy on your own, because anyone else that you add into your life, like, it's not in like a desperation way. It's like are you actually an asset to my life? Like, I think that's actually a really great place to be. If you were in a place where you're like, I'm 30 and I'm just like trying to find someone, you might end up settling and actually end up being very unhappy. So I feel like at the end of the day, your happiness is what matters most. And if someone happens to come along and you feel like they're a great fit, that's awesome. I feel like that's actually not a bad spot to be in at all.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sure your mom's not gonna stop. But I guess just keep verifying to her that you're okay, and that, like she said, potentially settling or going out of your way to find someone that may not be your match, that may be okay or whatever, half-assed, isn't worth it. Just like, I feel like parents kind of forget that. Because, you know, generations ago, it was very normal to be married by 30 and even have a family at that point.
Right. Agreed.
Okay.
What's the next one?
Okay. My best friend gets really caught up in her relationships and drops everyone around her. Okay.
I love when people do that.
Yeah, it's my favorite. That one's hard because I've dealt with that.
Me too. That's like a really hard situation. And I get it too. Like, when I'm newly in a relationship or something, like, I do want to spend time with that person. Like, you are, like you said, in a honeymoon phase, like, you just want to see them all the time and things like that. But I think you also have to pay attention to the fact that like one person can't offer you everything. Like, there's different relationships in your life for a reason, friendships, family. Like, you can't just expect so much from one person. I feel like if you fall into something like that, it can be very dangerous. Say there is a breakup or something doesn't work out, like you could lose yourself in that, you know, like it does get very,
I just think it's easier said than done to have someone understand that they do that. So one, obviously I'm very forward, I would sit her down and be like, you're hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
People tend to react well when you don't get defensive or play the victim necessarily or get loud. You just say like, listen, I love you. You're hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
I feel like you've kind of been a little dismissive or you dropped me, but, I know you're really happy with Joe, but it's hurtful. And I also think the older we get, that should stop. That's kind of like you said, it's so ridiculous. That one person isn't going to give you everything. And at the same time, when you hang out with someone for so long, especially a potential boyfriend or husband in the long run, you're going to have so much time together. Right. It shouldn't be like, I need to see them every minute. Because then like you learn things quickly. And then, the honeymoon starts to fade a little easier. But that's hard. I've dealt with that. Honestly, what I do is I just kind of let it happen. Thankfully, I have a big friend group. So I'm not, lonely. And when she finally does reach out to me, I do tell her like, oh, well, you haven't really been around. You missed so much. And then they kind of understand the damage has already been done. But
I've had that too in friendships where they are in relationships and it does fade because they are spending so much time and haven't really made time for our friendship. And sometimes I'm quiet about it and I just notice it and whatever. If it fades, it fades. That could be like a flaw on my part. But like, then if they are to break up and they're reaching out to me more, I'm like, that's feels hurtful. Almost, it is hurtful. Like it's like a what? I'm like your second option. Yeah. Like it does get into that. I would say the best thing to do is if you are feeling upset about that, I'd say something. And it doesn't have to be like an argument. It could literally just be a thing of like, I really value our friendship. I love spending time with you. And I feel like we haven't been spending as much time. Like I would like love to just make
or maybe
space,
try to be friends with them as a couple. That can also help you like intervene a little bit and get closer to her. But yes, I do agree. You need to say something. She doesn't realize that. And if she does, she doesn't care for whatever reason. So you need to just be forward. You just can't be like, well, she should just know. We used to see each other every day. And now I see her never. She knows what she's doing. I'm sure she doesn't. I'm sure it's like she's thinking, well, my friend's happy for me. Right. They could care less. Like,
right. And I'll see them when I see them. Like, sometimes people have no idea that they're being hurtful.
I did that when I first started dating Joe. And my friends called me the fuck out for it. They were like, you're never around. Or you leave early when we do things because you want to see Joe. And you know what? I did it and I knew what I was doing at the time and I just didn't care. I just wanted to see him. And then when something was finally said, I didn't realize it hurt their feelings. I just thought they could care less and they did not. And I tried to be better at that. Even now I try and see them, we do once a month dinners.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we prioritize our friendship.
Nice.
Not that Joe's like, Joe and I are not in the honeymoon phase, been like 5 years, but still love him. Going strong. Okay. My friend asks for advice about dating and problems with guys, but does not take my advice ever. Literally everyone. Human ever. It could be in any circumstance.
Yeah. I think that literally goes into the thing of like, do you want advice or do you want to vent? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like.
But at the same time, you also have to like protect your own energy in a sense. Like if that is all there's some girls that get so wrapped up in that. That's all they talk about when they're with you.
Right.
And you're just drained. You're like, I cannot listen to this again. Yeah. I love you, but we are 25, 30, whatever. Yeah. I cannot listen to this again. We have actual things to talk about now.
Right.
Like life, responsibilities, jobs, dogs.
Very
I can't keep talking about the same problems, and I'm giving you multiple valid options as far as advice. You're not taking any of them. So.
I think it does get down to a point where if it's like a repeated conversation, you're literally repeating yourself. You could straight up just say like, listen, like I am here to support you. I'm here if you want to vent, but like I have been giving you so much advice and thinking that I'm helping you. And obviously I'm saying these things because I care about you, but you're not taking my advice. So you're leaving me at a dead end. I don't really know what else to do. And I just feel like the conversation has just continued on. Honestly, I feel like I was in a place like that for a second, even with you, like, and you were like,
I have very little patience.
But she was literally like, so break up with him. And I was like,
no, you like always had an excuse.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, but,
yeah.
And I was just like, we're talking about this for the 19th time. I think you should end it. otherwise I can't talk about this anymore.
But honestly, it was a good wake up call for me, because there would be moments where something would upset me in my relationship and I'd be like, let me see like her advice on this or whatever, and then I'd have it in my head and be like, she's gonna tell me this, and then I'd be like, yeah, but why is she telling me this? Because this keeps fucking happening, and like, am I happy in this? Like it did kind of trickle down to me at some point.
And I'm kind of the opposite. I don't really ask for advice a lot. I either vent, because I'd like to think that I'm a very logical person. Aside from when I'm venting and I'm emotional, I'm good at like taking a step back and being like, okay, what are my options here?
Yeah.
And if I do need advice, I'm not really shy about it either.
You can't change other people, unfortunately, but you can change how you react, and you can set boundaries. So if there's a conversation that's starting to feel draining for you,
right,
you need to tell that person, and it can be in a loving way, and being like, listen, like, I love you, I care for you, but like, you have to understand that this has been a conversation for so long. I've given you advice, you know, I have your best interests at heart, but nothing's changing, and at this point it's just getting draining. I would just flat out say it, because I feel like when I was in a situation like that and you said that to me, it was very eye-opening, that I was like, oh wow, I'm actually like bringing this fucking negative energy to my other friendships, and like none of it was good.
I also think like I'm that kind of person to say those things, so people weren't taken back by them. But if you're not that kind of person and you try and be that flat out, it could come across really wrong.
Well, I think that's why it's like, it is about delivery too.
It is. So just like maybe take our advice, but tweak it a little bit, because I'm a very forward person and you're a very logical thinker. So like us together, when we would give advice or share problems, they were pretty reactive in a good way. So if you're not that kind of person and your friend knows that, just reassess your delivery a little bit.
Just maybe give them a hug before, or like a, hey,
donut,
love you,
love
you,
food.
Yeah, he's a sandwich. Break up with him,
dump his ass.
Yeah. Literally, and then be like, your hair looks amazing today.
Or worst comes to worst, give an ultimatum, me or him. Boom.
True.
Never know.
It's a good shot.
Okay, next one.
There were a lot of things about like anxiety or like mental health and stuff, and I love that shit. So
I know you do.
Let's talk about it. Someone was talking about imposter syndrome, which I think is, I feel like
Well, explain what imposter syndrome is.
To put it simply, imposter syndrome is the experience of feeling like a phony. You feel as though at any moment you are going to be found out as a fraud, like you don't belong where you are and you only go there through dumb luck. I feel like I didn't even know imposter syndrome was a thing until the pandemic. Just me personally, like I've been in the arts my entire life. I don't know myself without it. And when it was literally all stripped from me, I remember literally like the first dance class I was back in or whatever, I literally felt like I didn't deserve to be there, or I felt like I was like faking it or something. And I was like, what is this feeling? Like it's really overwhelming. And I'm sure a lot of people had that, even working from home, maybe going back into an office or something. I think I read this book once, and it's called Millionaire Success Habits. Bear with me. Great book though. Highly recommend. And he had a whole chapter on imposter syndrome. And he had this really cool concept about it, of kind of making this, like, make two sheets of yourself, of like who you are, and then make a sheet of like, kind of like, not your alter ego, but like the greatest things about you, and like your accomplishments, and like all of these wonderful things that make you you.
Was your list long?
It was just pages. No, honestly, I took a lot of pictures from my childhood, and that made me feel really great, because I was like, I'm doing these things for that 7-year-old Jackie. Like that was a really humbling thing for me. I think like going back to your roots, I watch like old dance videos of myself, like they're fucking terrible, burn my eyeballs, but like it's refreshing to me, because I'm like, look how far I've come. Yeah. And I think it is important to go back to your roots and rediscover even why you are passionate about that thing, or what it is, even if it's like in a friendship, if you're feeling imposter syndrome, like you're showing up inauthentic or something, like go back to the roots of your friendship. Or for me, that page in that chapter of like literally making a page of kind of your alter ego, and not even in like a conceited way, and like your accomplishments, you're a good friend, you're a good sister, you're a good this, like, you know, you had this great thing happen, and oh, you're hardworking, and whatever it is, like I would read that before like auditions or something, or before I went on stage, and like it just kind of set me back in my place of like, that's me.
Right.
I no, that's not a lie. Like these are actual things that happened. For me personally, that was a really eye-opening exercise that I really liked.
That sounds nice.
Please like read that book. It was so good. Great. Well, I listened to it Audible. Sorry.
I also think I suffer from imposter syndrome. I think everyone does. I think that's where I'm going with this is everyone at some point feels like they're there by chance and they don't necessarily deserve it, and they're kind of like faking it till they make it, but they don't think they're gonna make it. And then I realized everyone's doing their job and getting by and getting through it, but everyone is somewhat struggling to do it. And I think that's really comforting. Yeah. I'm sure you're not alone, whoever responded to that. I'm sure
you're not alone.
And just remember that. You are not the only one that's lost. I'm telling you, you're not. And in that case, it's no longer an imposter syndrome, because in that case, everyone's there by chance.
And if you think about it, no one knows what the fuck is going on. We're literally on a floating rock. Like, no, I mean, come on. We'll get down to my fucking fucked up thoughts, but like we're on a floating rock. You know what I mean? Like what is that we have to show up so sure of ourselves? Like we're literally just breathing and existing, and we enjoy something, we're passionate about it, whatever. Like, I don't know.
So my advice is just take a breath. There's people around you that feel the same way, and keep faking it, honestly. 'Cause I don't think it's rare, or it'll take a long time for you to truly feel sure of yourself. But keep working at it every single day, and then one day it'll happen. Yeah. There's nothing else you can do.
I think you can literally also make a list of the things you like about yourself, your accomplishments, pictures, like make a collage, make a shrine of yourself if you have to, like, and not in a conceited way, just in a way of like feeling good about yourself,
well, it is conceited, but it's for a good cause.
But like, I don't know. I don't know. It helps me
validate
feel
yourself.
Present. Yeah. Validate yourself. Next one. Someone said body dysmorphia, forgetting where you started versus where you are now. That's a tough one. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to speak for the entire human population, but I think at some point, like, we all deal with body dysmorphia. I feel like
I currently deal with it.
It's just, I mean, when you take pictures of yourself, the angles make your body look different. Like
you won't find a selfie in my phone since like 2019. I hate pictures of myself when people are like, let's take a picture. I'm like, fuck.
We barely have pictures together.
Right. I just do it for the group photo, but I never look at them. I never save them. I never share them ever. And I hate the way I look. And everyone's like, no. The same thing I would say to anyone else if they said that to me. Right. But it's just different when it's yourself.
Yeah. I think it's also like, we have a habit in our society to look at ourselves and find the negative. We're always like my immediate thing in the mirror will be like, look at myself and be like, what don't I like? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I listen to a lot of like mental health stuff because I think it's great. But there's this girl online named Serena Kerrigan. And I sent her to you. Yeah, her name is Serena fucking Kerrigan. She's awesome. But she always says, like, she looks in the mirror and she's like, talk to that person in the mirror like they're your best friend. Talk to them like they are your best friend. Would you turn to your best friend and be like, I hate this about you, I hate that? No, you would hype your best friend up and be like, you look fucking awesome. Good for you. I'm proud of you. She was like, talk to the person in the mirror like that because they deserve it. And at the end of the day, not all you have is yourself, but that's who you have. Like that's who you go through life.
Day, that's who you have.
Yes. Like you go through life with you. So why wouldn't you be nicer to yourself? And I think it's just exercising the conversations. Like, I'm not ever going to say that like, oh, and then you just won't have body dysmorphia. I think it's more those intrusive thoughts and how to deal with them.
Right.
I think is a really big thing.
Coping mechanisms.
Yes.
Everyone deals with well, I'm not saying everyone, but most people deal with body dysmorphia or just anything that's negative towards you, whether it's your mind, your work ethic, whatever it is. What's the other option? Just make it worse and keep talking negatively and then deteriorating mentally and physically. It's just not, you just have to remind yourself like, yeah, it's hard. I mean, the Serena fucking Kerrigan Instagram. I follow, and she definitely kind of hypes me up.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier said than done.
For sure.
I've looked in the mirror and been like, you're great. Love you.
Yeah.
Like cringing. But
the first time I did that.
I tried.
Yeah. The first time I did that, I actually like got a chill. I was like, that was disgusting. Like, I was just like, what?
It's awkward.
But now I like randomly, I'll just be like, I'm proud of you. And now I'm like, like your body does react. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It sounds so dumb. I think it's not about like, oh, take body dysmorphia out or take negative thinking out. Like, I think it's more accepting that it's always going to be there. Right. How are we going to deal with it? And how are we, sometimes like I'll talk to like my anxiety like a child. Bear with me for a second. Like if I get anxious, I'm like, okay, like, yeah, this is really overwhelming. Like, thank you for coming to the surface. It's actually fine. Nothing bad is happening right now. And I will literally talk, but I'll talk to my anxiety like it's a 5-year-old freaking out for no reason. I'll be like, nothing bad is happening. Everyone's fine. Like this is going on and we can handle it. You know, and I'll remind myself, be like, I'm 25 years old, like this and that. Like but I did change the dialogue and my anxiety will be gone like that. Like that. I think it's really more how we deal with it and just don't beat yourself up. Like I know that sounds really dumb, but like I feel like having a negative thought, I mean, you could just fall into a black hole, right?
Yes.
So it's just, I think it's more just catching yourself. Like as soon as you have that first negative thought of just being like, oh, that was a negative thought. And how are we going to compliment ourselves today? Like it sounds so dumb, but it really is helpful.
And I also suggest that if you're upset about something, especially if it's not something that's super common, give yourself a minute to be upset.
Yeah, for sure.
I tend to be upset and then I try to be like, okay, was that really worth it? And then it kind of brings you back a little bit.
Yeah.
But body dysmorphia probably won't go away. All you can do is work at it every day, and that rhymed.
Right.
Okay, moving on.
Okay. How to leave work at work and like how to leave home at home when you get to work. Wait, let me just fucking say that all over again. Let's just start with how to leave work at work.
Okay, that's fine. How to leave work at work. And how to separate work and home. Okay.
Yes, great. You want to start on that one?
Sure. So, I mean, both aspects can be stressful at times. Some more than others, I'm sure. But personally, I think I take work home versus home to work more often. I don't know why. I just think at home I'm not as judged, and at work I do feel a little more judged. Not to their own fault. That's just, it's a me problem. But you know, those people don't really know me, and every day I'm showing up to show them that they hired the right person, right? So when I mess up at work, if I had a bad day or if I disagreed with someone, anything that went wrong in my day, minor to major, I think about it all day. It doesn't like leave me, and I'll be home and I'll have to tell Joe about it and just like kind of talk about it. And then after the first 1 or 2 times, he's like, are we seriously still talking about this? Like, it's not that big of a deal. And he'll remind me like, that's work and it ended 5 hours ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're right. So I would just vent about it. It helps me, whether it's to yourself or to somebody else. And then I just think you think it's way bigger of a deal than it is, and that next day you go in, nobody's thinking about it.
Right.
So I guess just ground yourself in that sense. As far as home, I personally don't have a problem with that. I don't think. I think work's kind of an escape from home, but home is not an escape from work for whatever reason for me. So I don't know if you can answer that one better.
I think I actually struggle with this a lot because I feel like my job.
Your job's not like one location.
It's not a 9 to 5. Like it, I'm going to use the words creator / entertainer because it's singing, filming, TikTok, whatever. There's just like a lot of different attributes. I feel like mine never actually shuts off because I could be at dinner and be like, hold on, wait, this could be a really good TikTok. Like it does overlap. And I feel like lately I've been trying to find a really healthy balance of it. Cause like I'm also dating someone who's turning 30 and is very out of the social media, does not give a shit about it. And it's constantly on my mind. Like I have to be like, oh, this would be a nice photo. Oh, this would be a this. Oh, and he's very supportive of it, which I'm very grateful for. But I could also understand why someone wouldn't be, because I feel like it's like, why are you bringing your phone out at dinner?
Because you're doing it for other people,
right?
Unfortunately,
right. And I feel like I do struggle with this a lot because I'll even be, I don't know, like I'll be like chatting with people and I'm like, so sorry, I just need to take a picture of this coffee. Like it does overlap. And I feel like it's really hard to find a balance, especially as a creator / entertainer. I feel like also people say things and I'm like, that's a great song lyric. And I'll like type it down on my phone. Like I don't know.
Always have to be on.
Yes. And I just feel like I don't have like a 9 to 5, which I chose and I was very aware of. Like I'm not complaining about it at all. It obviously has its pros and cons, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is something that I'm also learning too, is like, how do you separate that? Like maybe it is Friday night at dinner, I'm not taking photos, but Saturday, maybe I'm doing this and timing it out. But then in my head, I'm like, did I just miss a good content thing? Like it really messes with my head a lot, honestly.
I think in your circumstance, like for me, like I'm established, I'm at my 9 to 5, right. It's set. You're trying to get somewhere, right. And if you, like you said, if you miss content, like do we think that was gonna be the one picture that blew you up? No, but that's so normal to be in the back of your head, like, did I just miss a really good opportunity to get views or whatever? Because unfortunately in like your industry, we've talked about being big on social media is very important, right? Unfortunately, I
think also maybe this is a similar feeling for other people, even in a 9 to 5, like maybe for you as well. Like I never leave a day being like, that was good, I worked really hard, and I mean I could work my ass off and still not feel it. I think that could just be like a universal thing of our generation, of just never feeling like something is enough or doing enough. But yeah, I struggle with that too, the leaving work at work and vice versa. It really does depend on your job too. I wish I had more advice.
Yeah, that's a really hard one. I also think it depends on your job and how stressful your home life is. Like mine's not stressful that much in either aspect, so I feel like I'm privileged in that sense. But I guess to end this, I would try and just remind yourself, take yourself out of the bubble. I always talk about like a bubble, but take yourself out of the moment and be like, okay, what is this really affecting? Should I be this stressed over it? Should I be thinking about it this much? Yeah. I do that sometimes, and then I'm like, all right, calm down, get over it, just move forward, just talk to yourself.
I think also just like setting boundaries, like if there's a way for
turn
you to
off
decompress,
your phone.
Turn off your phone, or like if there's a way for you to decompress getting home from work, if you do work like a 9 to 5, set like an hour for yourself or something.
Listen
and, like,
to our
light a
podcast.
Candle, listen to our podcast, whatever. I think it's just setting boundaries. I guess I'm still working on it too. Last question, I guess we'll wrap it up here. Best way to spread encouragement when someone is having a bad day?
Food.
I'm not going to argue that. Bring people food all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's different ways. Also, it's hard because people take things differently. Some people like to be around people when they're upset. Some people like their space.
Personally, I like to go out to eat. Like I like to be out, whether it's getting a drink, getting food, whatever, or even just like walking my dog. But I like to sit and be served, be catered to. So I love when my friends are like, let's go grab something to eat. We'll talk about this. Even if I end up not discussing whatever, I think leaving that space that I, got upset or was whatever. Yeah. That really helps me. But so if you were trying to cheer somebody up, personally, I think food is great, or like treating them to something. Yeah.
I think you could also do the thing of like, what do you need right now? Because I feel like when I'm upset, when you're upset, very different situations, like very different. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like it's best for me to be like, what do you need right now? What can I be there in support of you? People handle things very differently, and I feel like that's like the most challenging part, because maybe the way I would think to cheer you up would not cheer you up. You know what I mean? Like it might just be very different. I don't know. I would always go with the thing of like, what do you need right now? Like, I'm here for you. So how can I help support you right now?
Yeah. Validate that whatever they want to feel better, they're going to have, within reason. Yeah.
Go get a McDonald's McFlurry. Not that I like extremely support McDonald's.
You like can't really eat dairy.
No, but I feel like I would treat myself to that.
I bet you would. Okay, I think that's it. We've answered a good amount of questions. I hope if you decided to come back and listen to our responses that they were helpful. Otherwise, I guess we're signing off.
Yeah. Hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to all of our social media platforms.
And leave 5-star reviews, please.
Yeah. And tell us if you have any recommendations of things you'd like us to chat about in our next episode. We'd love to hear your feedback. So,
bye.
Bye.